After the success of hosting the G20 summit in Bali, Indonesia hosted another critical event, the ASEAN Summit last month. Opened with the ASEAN Business and Investment Summit, convened by the ASEAN Business Advisory Council, the event was attended by more than 2,000 world leaders, CEOs, and senior executives representing multinational and regional corporations.
Among the delegates were one large group consisting of 130 delegates from Western Australia, led by Honorable Roger Cook, MLA, Premier of Western Australia. At the summit, Premier Cook shared his view as a role player at the plenary session, emphasizing the importance of ASEAN for the growth of the economy of Western Australia. The Western Australia government delegation undertakes a historic Indonesia mission. It is the first overseas mission with Premier Cook, a mega mission because of the unprecedented number of delegates involved. More than 130 key government and business representatives, including 3 members of the Cook cabinet. The delegation came to Indonesia with a key focus on investment and trade outcomes across energy transition, creative industries, and digital economy, international education, primary industries, and tourism.
So the first question is gonna be the basic question. Why Indonesia? What do you see in us in the context of ASEAN?
Well, Indonesia is Western Australia's closest neighbour. And many Western Australians have been to Indonesia but never been to Sydney or Melbourne. It also, as with 278 million people, represents a significant economic and trade opportunity for Western Australia. So we want to make sure that Indonesia is an important part of our economy going forward, but also that we can be part of the Indonesian economic prosperity.
Okay, so it's the reason why you see Indonesia is a good potential as to have collaboration with Western Australia. So specifically with East Java province that said that has collaboration with Western Australia, what are the forms of cooperation that is going on?
Well, we've been a sister state with East Java for many years, and I'm looking forward to going to Surabaya in the next few days so that we can refresh that relationship. We want to look at what opportunities there are around people-to-people ties, particularly through cultural and sport opportunities, but also to explore how we can continue to integrate our 2 economies, particularly in training and education. We think that there's good opportunities for Western Australia to benefit from strong training opportunities in East Java. And of course, part of my trade mission to Indonesia this time round is to continue to promote Western Australia as a destination for students looking to study at university.
Okay, so there are several sectors that is going to be discussed in this context, in this week particularly. Can you explain more, elaborate more, what is the expectation or the output or the goals of this week discussion?
Well, this particular trade mission that we've brought to Indonesia is the biggest in Western Australia's history. We have over 100 political and business leaders as part of this delegation. And of course, that's across many sectors. But the sectors that we're particularly interested in exploring is around critical minerals, around international education, tourism and primary industries. So I've brought a number of ministers with me to continue those conversations, and they will take place in Jakarta, Surabaya and Denpasar. We're very much looking forward to seeing how we can explore the opportunities around continuing to build these great trade links between Indonesia and Western Australia.
Okay, so one of the topics that is going to be discussed, as you mentioned, in Indonesia Connect Roadshow, right? Is Indonesia Connect Roadshow that is going to be the whole week. Is energy transition. This is one of the most important topics. Can you elaborate more about this? What is the output of the goal of the discussion, specifically about the energy transition?
Well, one of the challenges that we share with all our Southeast Asian economic neighbours is how we can decarbonise our economies to address issues around climate change and global warming. Western Australia has an abundance of wind, solar and land, so we know that we can be a big renewable energy powerhouse. In addition to that, we also have every critical mineral required for a lithium-ion or vanadium-ion battery. We know that Indonesia wants to be a world leader in electric vehicle manufacture. So that is why we see an important opportunity for us to be integrated as part of that global supply chain.
The Indonesia Connect Roadshow provides a platform to promote Western Australia as a recognized and trusted partner, and a chance for Western Australian businesses to engage in trade, investment, and cultural exchange. The roadshow was started in Jakarta with the ASEAN Business and Investment Summit, representing a key opportunity for delegates to raise the profile of Western Australia. The summit promoted collaboration opportunities in the energy sector. The Jakarta leg of the mission included an energy roundtable with Kadin, the Indonesia Chamber of Commerce, which was held on the sidelines of the ASEAN Business and Investment Summit. The meeting focused on developing value-adding, resilient and sustainable critical minerals and battery industry supply chains in both regions. The roundtable follows a plan of action in relation to critical minerals that was signed during Indonesian President Joko Widodo's visit to Sydney in July. One of the delegations joining the mission was Honorable Bill Johnston, Minister for Mines, Petroleum, Energy, Hydrogen Industry, Industrial Relations.
Okay, as you mentioned this afternoon that we live in the one of the most crucial period of the global history, that is climate change takes a big part of our lives. So how do you address this in the context of collaboration with Indonesia?
Well, Western Australia has a lot of highly dispersed small communities in the similar way that a lot of the Indonesian population is spread across this great archipelago. So we think that there's some important experiences, shared experiences around how you can decarbonise everyone's electricity through microgrids and other energy storage opportunities. And in Western Australia, as I said, we've got significant abundance of wind and solar energy sources. So I think hydrogen is going to play an important role as part of the economic partnership between Indonesia and Western Australia.
Okay, so it's gonna be a special partnership between Western Australia and East Java. Can you elaborate more? What is the next event or the closest goal between this particular partnership?
We've been having some great conversations with Kadin around how we can build the relationship between energy manufacturers in Indonesia with sources of critical minerals in Western Australia. So we're building those relationships and having those conversations. We also look forward to sitting down with our great friends in East Java to talk about how we can continue to build our vocational education and training sectors. In Western Australia, we've got strong curriculum and training capabilities that we want to marry with the great resource-intensive and economic prosperity of East Java. We think there's a great partnership that we can grow there.
This year, Western Australia celebrates 33rd anniversary sister state relationship with East Java, with the focus of the mission on skills development. During the visit after Jakarta, the Western Australia delegation visited Singhasari Special Economic Zone with a focus on training, upskilling, and workforce development discussions, as well as a visit to the Basketball Academy Shaping Futures Leaders. Premier Roger Cook and International Education Minister David Templeman have taken the Western Australia delegation to Surabaya as part of Indonesia Connect Roadshow to deepen ties with the Indo-Pacific partner, focusing on skills development, vocational education, and training. The visit also promotes collaboration in East Java's film production partnerships, audiovisual co-productions, skilled workforce development, and vocational education and training. To celebrate 15 years of sports cooperation, the delegation visited the DBL Academy Pakuan, which aims to develop and support future leaders.
Okay, so you mentioned before that we are also talking about economic relationship between Indonesia and Western Australia, and also with East Java. So how will you manage the optimum trade and investment cooperation from each of the missions stream in bilateral relationship between Indonesia and Western Australia?
Well, can I first of all say that it takes a long-term relationship.
Yes.
You can't simply come to Indonesia and say, hey, we're here, would you like to do business? We have to keep coming back. And this is my third visit to Indonesia since May last year. Building those economic relationships as we diversify our industries in Western Australia, but also our markets, is an important part of my government's priorities. So we are working with each of our with our valued Southeast Asian economic partners, understanding what the challenges are, to building those relationships, but also what are the opportunities.
Okay, that's my next question. What is the challenges that you already found across the ongoing partnership, especially in Indonesia or maybe with East Java?
Well, in Western Australia, we always have challenges around cultural literacy and business literacy in the way, how do you do business with Indonesia and with East Java? So one of the things that we are doing is bringing this big delegation over 100 members of business and political leaders from Western Australia as we continue to build our understanding and appreciation. We also obviously welcome delegations from Indonesia from time to time who are looking to build their investment and trade links with WA. So we will continue to move in that way, so we build long-term, deep relationships and build that cultural and economic literacy on both sides.
Okay, besides of the cultural challenges, in Indonesia here we almost every year we always have political challenges that we all know that next year is going to be a really big year for us, that we're gonna change the government through the election, and it means that it's gonna be change of regulation. How do you address these particular challenges?
Well, we both share great democracies. And from time to time, that will always be part of that conversation. But we know that in Indonesia, there's a long-term commitment across all sides of politics to have strong economic relationships with Western Australia and Australia. That is an ambition that we all share. So I think regardless of what from time to time intervenes in these conversations by way of elections and other changes, we know that there will be an enduring commitment to strong economic investment relationships between Western Australia and Indonesia.
Together with 3 ministers as part of the biggest delegation to Indonesia in the Western Australia government history are David Templeman as Minister for Culture and the Arts, Sports and Recreation, International Education and Heritage, Bill Johnston as the Minister for Mines and Petroleum, Energy, Hydrogen, Industry, Industrial Relations, and Jackie Jarvis as Minister for Agriculture and Food, Forestry, Small Business. Focusing on primary industries, Jarvis and the respective delegates visited Bogasari flour mills and trading company Mulya Raya, and also led a roundtable discussion between Indonesia red meat importers and Western Australian importers hosted in partnership with Meat and Livestock Australia. The roundtable was followed by a site visit to Ranch Market, as the first in Indonesia to sell Western Australian Bravo apples under the Soluna Apples brand. In Surabaya, Jarvis led the primary industries delegates on a visit to Mina Agar Makmur Cooperative ahead of a new agreement being signed between the cooperative and Western Australia biotech company Ulu. The roadshow continued with a tour to PT Java Confit Indonesia Aquaculture Feed Processing Facility, one of Indonesia's major commercial feed suppliers. In Bali, Jarvis concluded the roadshow with a tour of Atlas Pearls, accompanied by a delegation of primary industries representatives. Western Australia's relationship with Indonesia is a key economic driver. For the Western Australia government, Western Australia exported $3.8 billion of goods to Indonesia in 2022, above the annual average of $2.3 billion over the past 10 years. Western Australia accounted for a quarter of Australia's total trade in goods with Indonesia in 2022. Western Australia accounted for 30% of Australia's good exports to Indonesia in 2022. Indonesia is a significant trading partner with Western Australia, with $4.6 billion of goods traded in 2022, and Western Australia petroleum exports to Indonesia rose 16% to $1.2 billion in 2022.
So this is gonna be my last question for you personally. So what is the most excites you through this week that you're gonna visit Jakarta right now, and you're gonna be in Surabaya and Bali? What excites you the most?
What I see in Indonesia is an exciting, growing economic drive driven by young people. And what we see in Indonesia is as a young population, they are seizing the opportunities of the future, whether that's through the digital economy or the creative industries, or those strong people-to-people ties that come from people sharing experiences such as education and training. So the prospects for the partnership between Indonesia and Australia, and from my perspective, Western Australia, is very strong. So we need to continue to invest in the relationship and continue to make sure that we work together on both the challenges and the opportunities. Together we can share great economic prosperity.
It's amazing. Thank you, Mr. Roger Cook, for having us here today in the interview with CNBC Indonesia. Have a wonderful day for you.
Thank you.